Good morning, students. Today we are going to study the chapter Basic Listening Skills. In this chapter, we will learn the definition of listening, difference between listening and hearing, and the different types of listening. So let's start with the difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is an involuntary process and we do it without any effort. Like a sound or noise comes into your ear without you making an effort. Whereas listening is a voluntary action where you pay attention and try to listen to sounds. So, in the case of listening, a person tries to understand what the other person is trying to convey. So, hearing is accidental, involuntary, and effortless, whereas listening is focused, voluntary, and intentional. Now, let's see the definition of listening. To listen is to give attention to sound or action. While listening, one is hearing what others are saying and trying to understand what it means. So it is a voluntary action and we do it with some efforts. So this is the definition of listening. Now, let's see the different types of listening. So there are five types of listening. First one is biased or selective listening, then evaluative listening, appreciative listening, sympathetic listening, and empathetic listening. So the first one is biased or selective listening. So here a person hears selectively. That is, he or she hears only what he or she wants to hear. So, someone who uses biased listening will only listen for information that they specifically want to hear. That is biased listening. So, the second one is evaluative listening. So, evaluative listening means to consider or judge something carefully. So, here a person or listener judges the content of the message or the character of the speaker. So, this is to consider or judge something carefully. That is evaluative listening. Next one is appreciative listening. This involves listening for the sake of enjoyment, and we use this when we are listening to good music, poetry, or the stirring words of a great leader. So, this is only for the sake of enjoyment and not necessarily to understand the content. So, the motive of this type of listening is enjoyment, or it is used only for the sake of enjoyment. Next one is sympathetic listening. So, sympathetic listening means share the feelings of another person. So, in this type of listening, we care about the other person and show concern in the way we pay close attention and express our sorrow for their ills and happiness at their joy. So, sympathetic listening is derived by emotion. The listener focuses on the feelings and emotions of the speaker through the practice of being attentive and responsive to others' input during conversation. So, simply, sympathetic listening means share the feelings of another person. The next one is empathetic listening. In simple words, empathetic listening means understand the feelings of another person. It requires extreme favoritism and close attention to the shades of emotional signals. When we are truly kind hearted, we actually feel what they are feeling. So, empathy is important because it helps us to understand how others are feeling so that we can respond appropriately to the situation. And the last one, before that, look at the picture. Know the difference sympathy versus empathy. So, the first one is sympathy, and in the case of sympathy, the first person tries to share the emotions of the other person, whereas in the case of empathy, the first person tries to understand the feelings of the other person through listening. Last one is active listening. It means being active and involved in the conversation. So, active listening means being attentive and involved in the conversation during the times that you are listening as when you are speaking. So, it is a way of paying attention to other people that can make them feel that you are hearing them. It is a way of listening and responding to another person that improves mutual understanding. So, this is all about the different types of listening, the difference between listening and hearing, and the definition of listening. Thank you.